What's up? It's your boy Circus. So I'm going to be doing my Alien Earth episode 6, The Fly. And man, did it live up? Did it live? Because everybody want to know what that fly thing was. You could barely see it, but man, it is something else. Definitely. It had in this episode, there were a couple things that I had a problem with, like any other. I mean, you can nitpick anything, but overall, it is my favorite episode of the series. Hands down, my favorite episode. It was so good. So good. So it kind of starts off, we're back in the Prodigy world on the island, and you get to see the lab, and you get to see like Wendy. Wendy's over there communicating, like treating it like a pet. You know, she kind of communicates. So this is going to be something, and I knew something was up. I knew it. They've been hinting at it the whole time. I don't think I'm just going to say it from the beginning. I really don't think that they have transferred any type of consciousness. I think they're just as much of a synth as Timothy Oliphant's curse. And yeah, I think it's just implanted memories, but they didn't transfer any consciousness. I don't really think that's them anymore. I think they're hyping it up, and kind of it's a con, because there's a lot of parts in this episode where you're like, they hitting at it that it wasn't successful. In a way it was, but not the way they thought. But we got the banter back between Curse and Hermit. And I like how Curse is like really laying it, even though he's a synth, it's like this dude is more logical and more human than everybody in the room. Nobody can read the room. He's so good, Timothy Oliphant, in this character. Anything he's in. But so we get that, and then kind of get past that. I gotta make this one a little short, but there's a lot of things in here. Like, so Hermit needs to be a little bit more careful when he's talking to people, because there's cameras everywhere, but apparently they can't catch anybody with the cameras. Because there's like a scene when he's like talking, like trying to get the lowdown with all these people. And even his homegirl, his team that he's with, she was like, "What are you trying to do? We got it good here. Don't mess this up. You're trying to escape with your daughter." And he keeps or not with your daughter, with your sister. It's like, "We have it good here. We're fine. It's okay. We have top security." And that's how I wonder how Morrow's going to get in, because obviously he has slightly under his wing in this episode, and it finally comes to fruition. I'll get into that. But you get my favorite scene in this. I know it's all over the place because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this episode, and I love it. But is the meeting, the mediation meeting. What was up with Twilight looking dude over there? Why do you look like someone out of Twilight? The mediator. So Boy Cavalier comes in. They're trying to, do like a negotiation so she can get her stuff back, because it's technically her property. And Boy Cavalier is sitting there just being Boy Cavalier, and dude just doesn't wear no shoes, and he puts his feet on the table, which is so disrespectful. Definitely at a business meeting, or even at your own house. Okay. So I was like, yeah, this dude, but dude, he is so smart. He's sneaky. He's sneaky smart. And the banter between the back and forth between those two was good. And yo, you gotta watch. Just if you haven't watched, if you haven't watched this, it seemed like something out of Succession, or one of those, a scene out of Succession or something like that, or Boiler Room. It felt Boiler Room-ish for some odd reason. But if you haven't watched the show, just watch that scene. I bet you will start watching the show. There's other levels to the show besides like the aliens. And I really liked how they took time out for this one. So them back and forth, and then 50 billion, 20 was started like 10, right? And then it was 20, 25, and then 50. And then you got to see the back and forth between a cyborg and a synthetic on an elevator, which I love this scene. It was an acting class for some people. That's how you do it. So if you want to, if you're getting into acting or anything like that, look at that scene. Perfectly executed. I like that. So we got all that, but I did have some problems. Like, if it kind of feels like Kirsch wants all this to happen, I don't know what's his motive, to be honest with you. But he watches kind of everything unfold, and then the slightly and Morrow thing was a little bit. I mean, okay, it's like even the scene with Hermit, and he's getting all shaky, and it was like, all right, he's a hybrid. Why is he acting like that? Like, he would be more composed, wouldn't he? Because he's Hermit's scene, but he did kind of catch on. Like, okay, what are you trying to use me for? Because he has to get be impregnated by the face hugger and taken back to Utani. So he's under a lot of pressure right now. But everybody else is growing up besides Smee. Smee's just off. He's just being a kid. So some of it, the transfer's not working, and that's why I feel like it's not a transfer. They just imprinted memories. They're not that person anymore. They're not. They still wouldn't be because they're in a different body. So, but that's beyond the point. So we had the whole Nibs thing where you finally get to see. This is when it finally kind of came out. If you can erase their memories and stuff like that, that is not that person. And there's a whole scene when what's his name? The husband and wife, Arthur. Yeah, Arthur he says, I'm not gonna do it because the butler, I'll just call him Alfred, Boy Cavalier's butler dude or whatever, or his head of security. Yeah, he's kind of head of security. Yeah, he's like, yeah, just wipe it, and then we just need her to look pretty in front of the camera. That's all we need them for, because we got to start selling these products. So. And he's like, no, whatever. So he's like, you're fired. So then the wife's like, I'll do it. Well, she said it before he got fired. So it's like, dog, I'm done with you. You cut off. Dame, I liked you. Dr. Sylvie, I liked you, but you got to go. You got no loyalty. None. But you care so much. All right. He told you before something shady was going on and they need to get out of there. So there's a scene with like Kirsch and what's his name? Toodles. So this is when it gets like really, really interesting. I know I'm missing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this episode, and I'm trying to make this video shorter. Yeah, because I could probably talk for like an hour. But it's like Kirsch, you can see everything. It's kind of like you set Toodles up for failure on purpose, or to see. So he's using experiments inside of experiments. You know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, because Toodles he want to be like the big dog and be like, hey, I'm the smartest and brightest one. I'm just like Kirsch, just as good, but I'm still kind of human. They kind of think that, but okay. He kind of thinks that. But this whole scene's a failure. He rips off the door immediately. If something like that, that's the problem that I have in the show. There's like no sensors for stuff. If a door got ripped off, wouldn't there be like a sensor, like it's opened? But then again, nobody's really watching because they're doing their thing coming back from the well in Utani meeting. So they're really not paying attention except for Kirsch. But you finally get to see the fly thing. And it is not, it's got wings. It doesn't have like eyes and stuff. And man, the eyeball, man, I know you're an anti-hero and I know you're trying to figure stuff out for your benefit. Because I'm pretty sure the eyeball is trying to do it to survive as well. Because they bring that up. All these animals or all these creatures are trying to survive just like us. What makes them different than us? What makes us different from them? So, yeah, I did. When it hit the door and then he got locked in, I don't know why it went in like that, but the flies don't care. They'll eat anything. Because when they looked at it, it was like rocks. It was like volcanic rock and like parts from something, like parts from like old hard drives and stuff. And when he looked at it, it's like, oh, they'll eat anything. And they literally ate him, bro. Well, most of them. They'll just eat anything. They devour anything. So that thing, and it's loose in the lab now. So So Slightly can't get Hermit, but he does get Arthur. Poor Arthur. But there's a scene with Arthur when he's talking to Hermit and kind of gives him. But that's another problem I have with this. He looked directly at the camera like this when he's asking him the really important questions, the secret questions, and then he's typing on the computer and showing him stuff. I'm like, you shouldn't have looked at the camera, bro. That's going to be. They'll find a way. So obviously we got Morrow and William Tiny doing a kind of internal coup. And Slightly got broke. He broke, so he got Arthur infected because he saw that he was offline. Dude, you're getting fired and everything like that. Just leave, just dip. Obviously, your wife abandoned you for the project, so there's no reason for me to stay here. I'm not giving anybody anything. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm pretty sure I got that you gave me a severance or something like that to keep me quiet. I get it. Let me take my money. I'm gone. But no, he wants to go check on Toodles because he cares so much. Big mistake. So he gets infected by the face hugger, and then, yeah, we get that part, and then we see that the eyeball is. I'm missing something here. Am I? So he gets infected. They're all coming back. I know I'm missing something important. Other than we kind of get like the end a little bit when the eyeball creature's kind of looking at the synthetic. And the fly's like loose around there, so I'm pretty sure it's going to get out. And Slightly's taking Arthur, or what's left of Arthur. He's about to get a chest burster. He's taking him through the vents, so Morrow's probably going to get there on the most heavily secured place, probably in that area. For some odd reason, security is terrible in these places. I don't know. That's one problem I have with the show too. But yeah, the eyeball is like looking like the synthetic. I think it's realizing, what if I could take over in synthetic? And then for some odd reason, because it keeps looking at the xenomorph too, I think it really wants to kill the xenomorph. It may be an old enemy of the xenomorph that we don't know about, but it just keeps looking at him like, I want to kill that. And it's going to use everything in its power to, because even in that one episode when it took over the maintenance guy or the engineer, it like totally really didn't hurt anybody. Threw a old girl on the ground and didn't really mess with Morrow. He wants to fight that. I don't know. It's some weird stuff. But yeah, we finally got in this episode too. I'm pretty sure I missed a bunch. So much going on, but we got to see that. I don't think they're hybrids. I literally think they're the equivalent of synths with just imprinted memories. They could probably do that with regular, because I mean, isn't their build the same and everything like that? But supposedly they transfer their consciousness. But if they can change Nib's consciousness and stuff like that, and what she remembers, her memory and stuff like that, they're not even close. They're closer to synths than cyborgs. They are synths. Cyborgs are more human. And then Kirsch did bring that up to him, like, hey, you're kind of closer to us being a cyborg than a human. So remember that. But overall, my favorite episode, loved it. So tell me what you think. If you got any theories or whatever, just drop it in the comments. So I want everyone to like, comment, and subscribe. And I do mean everyone.